Hey everyone, I'm Brian, the creator of Japanese learning app Satori Reader.
And I'm Andy, the creator of ToKini Andy Japanese. And this is Japanese Support. Please don't sue us, Wired. All right, so we have a bunch of questions from Satori Reader's community and a bunch of questions from my community.
Okay, so this is from Skull Crusher 4307. Okay. Don't mess with them. All right.
Don't mess with this guy. That's why I chose your question.
What subject or topic would you say most people struggle with?
Kanji. Everyone struggles with kanji. Yeah.
There's no instant way to learn kanji. No. I mean, Japanese people spend the first 12 years of their schooling learning kanji. You know, it's just a normal thing that it's going to take time. So if you can enjoy the process and think of it more like a journey, as opposed to I got to get to the end as quickly as possible, and I'm not succeeding until I'm there. You know, that'll make it a lot more enjoyable for you.
In the beginning, I tried to find fast ways to learn kanji. How could I do it really, really fast? And the more time goes by, the more I'm starting to think maybe the way Japanese kids do it is just the right way to do it. Maybe just writing it 5,000 times works.
Tried and true.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know anymore.
Yeah. I notice a lot of people in the beginning, they spend so much time figuring out the best way to study Japanese instead of just studying Japanese.
Just do it.
I really have come to love the Nike just do it motto, because it's so do it. It is. You know, any amount of just doing it is better than planning to do it.
Right.
You know,
they never find the perfect way, so they're always looking for the perfect way, which means they never do anything consistently. So just doing it.
Yeah.
Find a way to enjoy the process of learning kanji, and then turn it into a habit. This question is from @CloudLewis22. What JLPT Japanese level is required to have a comfortable visit to Japan? I don't think any JLPT level is required to have a comfortable visit. I think knowing a few simple phrases is probably enough. But if you want to have conversations with people, N4, N3, I guess. I don't know. What do you think?
What I thought when I saw this question is any amount of Japanese is going to be noticeable and improve your overall visit.
Oh, yeah.
Because it'll just allow you to have the excitement of seeing the things that you learned. So, even if you only know hiragana, you're going to get off the plane and you're going to be going, oh my gosh, look, there's, seeing signs and stuff that. So I don't think there's a minimum level that you need to attain. Of course, like you said, knowing some basics, please and thank you. Where's the toilet?
Right, that can help.
That kind of thing. That will definitely make it more comfortable.
Definitely.
I suppose. Any amount. I think it's a ramp that goes up smoothly, and your enjoyment also just kind of goes smoothly up that ramp.
Definitely.
Okay, from Sam is Coolio. What are the top 5 things to study every day? Wow, okay. I mean, 5 is a pretty good number, too.
It is. It covers pretty much everything you need.
Yeah. I would spend a little time with grammar. It's one of those things where you don't want to just try to power through the entire thing in a week or something. Just kind of slowly but surely. Spend a little time with kanji. Spend a little time with new vocabulary words, which could be combined with your kanji study, because a lot of times you want to learn a few words that demonstrate or exercise the kanji that you're learning. And then that leaves 2 left, which would be perfect slots to put in some conversation practice, if at all possible, and some reading practice. And those 2 are really sort of meta areas, because they allow you to exercise all of the ingredients that you had learned in the other parts of your study. I like to say it's a crucible where everything comes together, everything is required, and it's very satisfying too, because when you see your progress, and you can see, I just learned that kanji, and here it is. And
I wouldn't add anything to that. I think the crucible example is perfect. And you absolutely need those things to actually make things stick, especially as you start getting to more and more advanced grammar and vocabulary and stuff. If you don't have the place where it all comes together, it just slips away.
So yeah, those 5 would be the ones I would choose.
Our next question is from Renshu Shiteiru. What is the most common mistake intermediate learners make? Oh, interesting. Okay. Intermediate learners make. Ooh.
Interesting. One was sort of about study methods. And one thing that people do sometimes is becoming hyper-focused on one aspect of study, like only kanji for the next 2 years or something like that, or only vocab tables or something like that. And language is like this like multifaceted thing, and each facet reinforces the other ones. So it's much better if you can combine a little time with kanji with a little time with speech or reading or something that exercises that kanji as well.
Right. A lot of intermediate students who find themselves stuck in the intermediate phase are married not just to a certain way to say it in English, but they're still not ready to let go of translating from English to Japanese. Not just the way they say it in English, but they want to be able to say everything they're able to say in English in Japanese.
Yeah.
And what I found was the way to get out of that for myself was just accepting that if I didn't know how to say it in Japanese without looking stuff up, maybe like I was just going to let it go for now and not say it at all. And eventually I'd become able to say it instead of like getting into weird habits of saying things like trying to force what I wanted to say out into Japanese. I found that ended up leading to more issues down the road for me.
Yeah. It kind of sometimes it creates weird patterns.
Definitely weird patterns.
And then like that just becomes like the way that you say that thing, but nobody else in Japan says it that way.
No. And so nobody understands you, which means you're just talking to yourself in the end.
Yeah. I think one of the most important things that you can do is looking past the surface level words of what you're thinking of in your native language and going down to what is the actual thing that I'm trying to convey, right? And then using the tools that you already have in Japanese. And I know you've talked about this before. How can I express that concept, even if I have to break it into 2 or 3 different sentences? Get that across using the grammar and the words that I already have.
Right. That's it. That's the answer, I think, right there. Super important. You want to get an intermediate stage, you have to do that.
Okay, this question is from Didara Lover 12345. I've been studying Japanese consistently for over 3 years now, but when I listen to shows, scripted or not, I still don't understand over half of what's said. It's really disheartening. Is this normal? Any tips on getting the textbook and reality to coexist?
That's a good question.
Yeah, that is a good question. I understand where you're coming from. I think we've all been there. Some of it can come down to subject matter. If you're watching a police detective show or something like that, there could be very fast scenes or scenes that just contain a lot of vocabulary that it would be expected that you don't know is coming in as a student. Sometimes finding a show that kind of is maybe set in a more everyday kind of situation could make it easier to follow along with what's going on. But of course, the people the writers for shows aren't really taking into account what a learner might know.
Right.
And so it's totally expected that you're going to be running into turns of phrase and grammar and vocabulary words that you're just unfamiliar with. And there's a period of time where you just kind of have to be okay with that.
You covered a really important part that I actually thought of when I was reading this question, and that is just pretty much a requirement when learning a new language to sort of become comfortable with ambiguity. And not worrying about understanding everything you're hearing and sort of just relaxing and letting yourself try to get the big picture. And sometimes you won't get it, but that's to be expected. In the end, no matter how much you've studied any language, eventually you take this giant leap into a giant chasm, which is the actual language that is meant for natives, whether it's speaking with natives, listening to native content, reading books aimed at natives. Like you end up finding that you feel like you've wasted all of your time, whether that were years or not. But what happens is if you have spent the time, which you clearly have, and you give yourself room to be, ambiguous and not understand everything, you'll learn really, really fast. If you just give yourself the space and not understand. Looking stuff up when you don't know it is not necessarily all the time, but if there are things you notice over and over again, don't be afraid to look it up. right, next question is from Matto. If you had to study Japanese from scratch again, what is one thing you would do differently this time? I've made multiple videos on this exact same question. I almost feel like I should just send you over there because there's so many things that I would do differently. But actually, there's not that much different. But the one thing that I would probably add to my routine now that I didn't do then is I'd actually probably study pitch accent. I've changed my tune on that quite a bit over the years, but I would not focus on it heavily, but I would at least spend a little time in it in the beginning. I would actually bring it up. That's probably the main thing.
I feel like I'm happy with the way that I learned Japanese. I don't think I would study very much differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, me neither. Maybe a little more reading, although I did a lot of reading, so I don't know. Probably not much. That's probably it.
Okay, RKC-G8N. Hello and welcome. Any tips for learning transitive and intransitive verbs? Okay, so I'm guessing you mean sort of remembering which verbs are transitive and intransitive.
I'm guessing that's it, yeah.
Okay, as opposed to like learning how to use them.
Yeah.
In my case, when I first became aware that there was a difference, because in English, we don't really talk about transitive and intransitive verbs.
No.
I mean, sometimes,
We have them,
yeah, we do. And sometimes you even hear people say like, such and such verb intransitive or something like that. That always just kind of like went right over my head before I started studying Japanese.
I imagine it goes over a lot of Japanese people's heads too. They probably don't think about it. We've got some Japanese people over here. Do you guys think about it? Do you think about transitive and intransitive verbs at all? Ever? Do you think about it? No.
You just use them.
One, no. They don't think about it. No, they don't think about it.
They just
It
use
comes
them
naturally.
correctly
all the time.
I think that for me, one thing that was kind of helped me was when I started thinking about English verbs and noticing that some of them could only be used transitively or intransitively, like raise versus rise is a nice example, right?
Right.
You raise your hand, you don't rise your hand.
Right.
But the sun rises. Say the sun raises.
Right. Yeah.
So that sort of was a new thing for me to like notice that. And then I started to look at, look, there's a tomare sign. Okay, so stop. So what would it mean for a car to stop versus stopping a car? And sort of like, that overall sort of like thinking of, I'm now dividing the world into two kind of ways of interacting with things. But then after that, I think there's a really strong relationship between your own using of something and your ability to recognize it. And so I've always felt that just finding ways to utilize something will make it sink into yourself a lot more.
The difficult thing with Japanese, I think, with transitive and intransitive verbs is that they often look very similar. But one thing that I found helpful is just paying attention when you are reading and listening. And actually, Yuki over there mentioned this a minute ago, and I wanted to bring it up, is that if it's a transitive verb, it's almost always going to have the O particle in there somewhere, which is the object that the quote transitive verb is going to be acting on. And if it's intransitive, you're often going to see ga and no O particle. So just like being aware of that as you're going through your reading and listening or whatever, and trying to connect the two, I found can be helpful. But it is something you just, you practice as you're going throughout your day, and you get used to over time. Yeah, there's not really a trick for memorizing which is which, I don't think. Question from me.
What?
I have a good answer for this one.
Which is the better course, human Japanese or ToKini Andy?
Thanks, Century Son.
Wow. This wasn't really from you, Andy?
No, it's not for me. It's not for me. I have a good answer, though, I think.
I think different approaches work for different people. And I also think that there is a lot of advantage to going through the same concepts presented by different people. A lot of times you can see a different angle on a topic. It kind of provides a review. So I love all of the content that you've created in a video format. It's amazing to have that many just hours and hours of a person who is with you and guiding you. And that's really awesome. Human Japanese is the content is more based around a text. So if you're a person who is comfortable reading a lot of text, and then there's interwoven example sentences and quizzes. I think that for me, what I like a lot about Human Japanese is that you're kind of in this flow that takes you through, okay, let's see the kanji, the first hiragana characters, and you just click on them right there in place and see the animations. Next page, you're going to see combinations of them that you can click and kind of practice your reading. So I like that aspect of it, but I know some people have said, way too much reading. I don't want to read that much.
Okay.
So yeah, I think they could definitely be complementary. And yeah.
I think they're completely different. And I think that they can be used in combination if you really wanted to. I think our main thing on ToKini Andy, besides our YouTube, I think that's a separate thing, is that is we interact with you guys. Like people are shadowing Yuki's example sentences, and then we're correcting their pronunciation, or they're writing essays, and then we're going through and helping them write it better. We do a lot of interactive stuff. We haven't actually created a textbook. Like, that's not what we've done. We base the order we present some grammar points and stuff on the popular textbook Genki. But Human Japanese is a better textbook than Genki, in my opinion. You heard it here first. So I think they're just different. And maybe someday we'll do something together that will sort of combine them more fluidly. But at the moment, there's no reason that you couldn't go through Human Japanese and ToKini Andy and like gain a lot from both. So I don't think they're actually competitors. So that's why I actually allowed this question to be here, because it's not as contentious as the original author thought, I don't think. Randy from the Netherlands. Welcome, Randy from the Netherlands. You've spent years breaking down Japanese logic for learners. What's one part of the language that still refuses to make sense even to you? There's always little things that, that come up that I'm a little bit like, I wonder what that is. But I gave up the mentality of this doesn't make sense a long time ago. Like that thought of this doesn't make sense sort of like gives you an out of not trying to figure it out, I feel like. And just not allowing myself to think this doesn't make sense has like allowed me to allow it to be ambiguous. And it just starts to make sense after a while. There are still things I run into that I can't I don't know well, like I couldn't explain it well, but that just sort of like work because I allowed it to be ambiguous and I saw it in like 50 different situations. So I'm like, okay, it's kind of this thing. Are there things that I couldn't explain well? Definitely.
Yeah.
There are tons of things I couldn't explain well, which arguably means I don't understand it. You could make the argument for that. If you can't explain something, maybe you don't understand it really well. But I do understand it when I'm reading. Like I know what's being said. I just can't explain it. Why it's like that. That's a long way of saying I don't think there's anything that refuses to make sense for me.
Yeah, I felt the same way. And yeah, it's kind of hard to say that without being
sounding like smug and
well, actually. But I didn't want this to be a boring answer, so I did spend a little time thinking about things since I got this one in advance that I still, that are still challenging for me. Reading handwritten calligraphy.
Oh gosh.
Speaking at long tables in crowded restaurants.
That'll do it.
The eternal challenge. Enraged Japanese, like on TV when someone's like chewing out their underling or something like that. Yeah. There's always like a part in the middle when I'm like, what did he say there?
No idea.
Yeah, I think I need to go to like enraged boot camp and just have somebody scream at me for
just join the Yakuza for a couple months and try and get out. Yeah.
I actually was watching TV with my wife's family, and there was a scene that was perfect for that. So I actually recorded it off the TV.
We can't show you guys.
maybe we can splice it in here or something.
Ooh, maybe. Yeah, I can't pick up the middle of that either. They're shaking their heads too. They couldn't pick it up.
Okay, so it's not just me.
No. Angry Japanese, yeah. Angry Japanese can be very hard to pick up, but not just for us.
Awesome.
All right, perfect.
All right. The next question is from that lazy guy. What is the Japanese language mistake that you are grateful you made?
I'm grateful that I allowed myself to make mistakes. I don't know if there's a mistake I remember like off the top of my head that I'm grateful I made.
Okay.
Like, there's a lot of mistakes that I made that are funny. I don't think there's a mistake that I'm grateful I made. Just I'm grateful that I allowed myself to make mistakes because you can learn a lot from them.
Yes, I absolutely agree. The mistakes are the things that just drive things home the most. I don't know if I can come up with one like on the spot right now. But
Yeah. No, it's there's just so many.
there are, yes.
I think learners underestimate how many mistakes you make.
Yeah, innumerable.
It's just we still make mistakes. There's no way we don't still make mistakes.
Like the grains of the sand on the sea.
The mistakes go on and on and on forever.
Yes.
A lot of learners that find themselves stuck, it's they don't want to make mistakes, and it's literally impossible. There's nothing you can do.
You got to
make
accept.
mistakes.
Yeah, accept it.
Next question is from Jared. How'd you get that username? Wow, lucky. What has been what has been the biggest change in your life since learning Japanese? Whoa. Everything?
Yeah.
My whole life is based around Japanese, and I think your whole life is based around Japanese. So our life has probably changed significantly more than the average person's changes just from learning a language.
I
would say, yeah. But also an interesting thing that will change is your perspective opens a lot when you learn a new language. There's things that you say in Japanese every day that you would never say in English, and it just gives you a perspective into a whole new culture. The language has been built up around a culture, so it's based on that. And that's why we talked about earlier why being stuck on your way of saying it in English hampers your ability to progress so much. It's because it wasn't built around your culture. Your language was built around your culture, which means it has ways of expressing things that you encounter every day within your culture. And when you learn the new language and you allow yourself to become part of that culture, you start to learn more about it. And it changes the way you think. It gives you like an extra personality even. Yeah, so that's for me.
Yeah. I love that. I was thinking very much along the same lines. I too also gravitated to the cultural aspect of learning Japanese because it's so different from my own native language. It just exposes you to the idea that there are different ways of looking at the world, describing the world. There's different solutions to problems. And, I came from a really small town in the US, and I don't know if I would have had the same perspective without that experience with Japanese.
Definitely.
I'm very grateful for that, what it's provided to me in that way.
Yeah, everything. I live in Japan. I have Japanese family. I teach Japanese. Everything in my life has changed from learning Japanese. Okay, Bas.
Okay. I'm seeing more and more sentences without furigana above the kanji in my learning apps since I've learned the most common readings of those kanji. But I often find myself struggling with choosing the correct reading. Any additional tips or tricks on that besides getting lots and lots of input to understand which reading is used in which context? So what that means to me is that you're seeing words that you don't know that happen to contain two characters that you do know. And so the good news is, awesome. Like you're like 90% there. What you need to do is look up that word and learn the word. Yeah. And then you'll be able to go, I see. Okay. So now I understand why the kanji are in this word, and I understand why they're contributing those readings. But yeah, the only time that knowing the readings is really useful to you in that context is that it would allow you to look it up in a dictionary or something by guessing.
Yeah.
Right. I think it's important to understand is the unit of meaning is the word. It's not the kanji, and it's not like the characters or the readings that the kanji is contributing.
Right.
The basic thing that should be like the core that everything else is a branch off of in your brain is the word itself. The word comes first in terms of the way that native people interact with it. Right. And I think that's one thing that learners have backwards a lot of the time, because we come in going, okay, I got to learn kanji. There's 2,000 kanji. And so that becomes this looming thing in your mind. And that becomes like one of the core fundamental things that is Japanese.
Right.
When in reality, it's a way of expressing words. Like the word arigato would mean the same thing regardless of whether you expressed it in kanji or hiragana or even katakana or even romaji, right? It's arigato. That's what the thing is,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, the readings, you don't want those to come first. If you just try and plug in the readings, it won't work. Sometimes it will help if you do run into like a rare word and you're like, maybe it's this, but you're never going to know for sure unless you look up the word. That's basically it. So just look up the word. Try to learn the word. Emmy, when do you feel like you can stop learning? Oh, this is a great question. Japanese feels like it consumes all of my free time, and I want to learn other languages too, but Japanese in particular seems like an infinite language you never stop learning, so I don't get the time for other languages. For people with as much experience with Japanese as you both, do you feel like you can say you've mastered it? Ooh. Or do you feel like an eternal student like me? I am an eternal student. Eternal. But I don't have to be. I teach Japanese for a living. That's my job. So it is also my job to be an eternal student. It means I always have to be learning something new because I just feel like that's my responsibility to my students. If I'm not continually improving my Japanese, like it's hard for me to be like, you should keep improving yours. Also, like you said, there's always something new to learn. But this is true for every single language. It's not just Japanese. Japanese feels like it's more because there's kanji and all this other stuff that you wouldn't have to learn with, for example, Spanish. But you can be an eternal student in your native language. Like, I don't know all of English. I still read books that were written not that long ago, and there are new English words every single day. So you have to decide, I feel like, if you are interested in doing other things than just learning Japanese, is you decide for yourself, is it enough?
I would, everything you just said is exactly what I was thinking.
Sweet.
The only thing that I would add is for Emi-san, I can tell, maybe you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed, and I hate to see that, and I would never want people to feel that they're overwhelmed and not enjoying the process of learning Japanese. What I will say is, yes, I continue to learn and study, but what it looks like changes over time. I imagine this is true for you too. What continuing to learn about Japanese looks like for me is to read for enjoyment and to be looking up new words that I discover, and sometimes new kanji.
Same.
And that is not a burden. It's enjoyable.
Right.
Yeah. But
That's exactly what I do. I mentioned that I'm an eternal student, but it means exactly the same thing for me. It means I read books. That's it. I just read and I look up what I don't know, and that's it. I would have read the books anyway. It's not like your image of sitting at the desk and like really studying hard. It's like I'm sitting at the breakfast table drinking coffee and I'm reading a book. Like that's my student everyday student life. So yeah, it changes, right?
Yeah.
This one is from Dana. I believe that's how you read that. Were you always brave and spoke Japanese with confidence even at the beginning? I feel like it's hard to find the courage to speak. I know mistakes are natural, but it feels like I can't communicate at all sometimes. You probably won't like this answer, but yes. Like I'm just going to do it. And it's going to be embarrassing, but I'm just going to do it. And I did it, and I made a fool of myself many times, and people, didn't know what I was saying sometimes, but surprisingly, you get a lot across, even with broken whatever language you're speaking. So I was definitely brave in the beginning, and by the literal definition of brave, brave is not necessarily confident, which I think you have to mix those up. Brave and confidence are different. Brave is doing something even though you're not confident, I think, right? Even though you're scared, you do it anyway. So yes, I was definitely brave, but I was definitely scared, and it was definitely full of mistakes. So it's definitely hard. It's always going to be hard, but the more mistakes you make, the better you get.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like when I was younger, I was kind of like, naive and dumb, and I just had sort of a teenage, confidence based on nothing.
Same, guilty as charged.
And so I wasn't as self-conscious then. And then as I learned more, you learn what you don't know. And, so it's been there have been waves for me. A lot of times when you're learning a foreign language or something where you feel like you need to prove how good you are, or that you can do it, that creates a lot of pressure on you. And so, I find that like the initial, starting the conversation with someone can be a challenge, like a new person,
Absolutely.
right? You're walking up to a counter, you can see them, they're looking at you like, oh, here comes a foreigner. Like, am I going to have to speak English with this guy? Yeah. And you can feel that tension there for a moment. Yeah. I mean, even today, it kind of, I try to get them from a distance, like get like, sumimasen. And,
Speak loudly in their own language so they're comfortable
so they
when
can
you get there.
calm down a little bit. And then that makes you feel a lot more comfortable too. You should just put yourself in the shoes of the other person. You're speaking their native language to them. You've, worked really hard to learn it. They're going to be happy at any level of your participation.
Right.
Like if someone were speaking to you in your native language and they were making misses here or there, you wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they forgot the word the here, or you're going to be accommodating and
Right.
yeah. So it's part of it is just trusting that the other person is going to be
Similar to you.
Yeah.
And if you are the type of person that judges every single grammar mistake that a person makes who's clearly trying really hard to learn your language, you have other problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe Japanese will help you to put yourself in.
Be a little more understanding.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't think many people are actually like that.
Yeah.
So, and I think even knowing all that logically is not necessarily enough for a lot of people, and I understand that. Like it's tough, it's scary, and for those type of people who just can't get past it, spend as much time as you can with the language anyway. Read a lot, listen to a lot, watch a lot, and eventually it might take a long time, longer than someone who is willing to just go out and speak. But if you give yourself enough input, eventually things will start to come out a little bit more naturally. But thank you for watching. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe, and check out satorireader.com
and ToKiniAndy.com.
Yes, please. And well, we hope to see you in the next one.
Okay.
All right.
Take care.
See you later, guys.